within the hop cone itself is all this nice, like gooey, yellowy sort of substance, and that's the lupulin. That's got all the wonderful, oils that give the, the really big fruity flavors and aromas to the hops, and that's the sort of stuff that brewers are really chasing at the end of the day.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Beer with the Brewer. We're here at Revel River Makers with Ferg. How are you, Ferg?
Yeah, good buddy. Yourself?
Good mate, good to have you in. Ferg's joining us today to talk about our latest release, Cryo Daze Hazy IPA. This one was a collab with Cryer Malt. It was one of our favourite suppliers. Ferg's been working with them for a couple of years now.
Yeah, about 3.5.
Oh geez, time flies, eh?
Yeah.
So today is International Beer Day, which is obviously a big day in beer.
Yeah, massive day.
Brewed this beer a little over 3 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, sort of like about halfway through July or early July, wasn't it? Yeah.
The target was to hopefully have it ready for today to do this.
And nailed it.
We've nailed it. Have a bit of a party or release this afternoon.
Yeah.
The bar crew have told me that I've even been wrangled in to serve beers for an hour, so...
Oh, look out.
I've done well to arrange that.
You're a rock star shit.
Yeah. So we'll see how I go doing that anyway.
Yeah, nice.
Why don't we crack the beer open, mate?
Sounds like a good idea. Looking forward to this.
Sitting here looking at it. So it's your first try of the beer. Look at that, it looks beautiful. Nice brewer's pour.
Love it.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, buddy.
Nailed the haze.
Indeed, nice. Good amount of haze.
So I think, mate, I pitched this beer to you 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever done a collab together.
No, we haven't. This is our first one.
So
it's pretty exciting.
Got in touch and sort of pitched the idea. I think you had another couple of collabs in the work coming up for the Juicy Festival.
Yep.
So we had to sort of wait for that to pass until we got to do this one.
Yeah, no,
but I think the timing's worked out pretty good.
I think we've nailed it, hit the nail on the head, so to speak. So yeah, to have it ready in time for International Beer Day, I think is a bit of a win.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah.
So the idea was to brew an IPA and then feature cryo hops. You might be able to tell us a little bit more about cryo hops. But basically, cryo hops have been processed more to bring out sort of the good bits of the hops.
Exactly right. So
in layman's terms.
Yeah. So if you've ever seen like a whole hop cone before, it's this nice sort of green thing. But if you were to dissect it or cut it in half, you'll see within the hop cone itself is all this nice, like gooey, yellowy sort of substance, and that's the lupulin. And
the lupulin.
Yeah, so that's it. So that's got all the wonderful, oils that give the, the really big fruity flavors and aromas to the hops, and that's the sort of stuff that brewers are really chasing at the end of the day. So the process behind cryo hops, which is obviously patented at the end of the day, is essentially almost like freezing those hops at a certain temperature, cryo, obviously there's the name, to remove all that outer leaf matter, or the bract as it's known as.
Yeah, sort of the more vegetable plant matter.
The vegetable plant matter, just to get that lupulin. So they've worked out how to do that, and then extract all that lupulin and then compress that all into a pellet, much like your T90, and
standard hop pellet.
And then get sent to brewers. I guess cryo is twice, if not more, potent than a standard T90 pellet. So yeah, it's just this huge, intense flavour burst that we all love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can definitely smell it and taste it in the beer.
Oh, it's like an explosion,
yeah.
right? So
we packaged this beer yesterday, so it doesn't get much fresher really.
Nah, it's super fresh.
we gave it a little taste on the canning line, and as we sort of do, just to make sure it's all good.
Got it, yeah, quality control, mate.
Absolutely.
It's number one thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So in this one, we have used Sabro,
Yep.
which is a pretty new hop. Amarillo. Amarillo is sort of more been around for a fair while,
Yeah,
but
it's a
in terms
classic.
of cryo hops, it's reasonably new.
Yeah, so, you know, that's it. So when they did the cryo hop, discovered the cryo hop process or implemented that, and then yeah, Amarillo got included in that little process, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we've used Eldorado as
Yeah, and
well.
Eldorado, which is another newish hop. It's
Yeah.
only been around 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
really.
so yeah, it's not too old either. And I think this is the first year that we've had it here in Australia in cryo form, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, so I guess 2 of those hops are sort of newer to the craft beer industry, and they're really, the hops coming through really sort of showcase that tropical fruit profile.
Yeah.
And then the cryo process really just brings out and it just lifts that
Yeah.
again, doesn't it?
Yeah, 'cause everything's just so concentrated.
So if you smell this beer, it's just like almost like a fruit salad bar
Yeah,
jumping out
like
at you.
fruit punch in a very big way, like sort of golden circle fruit punch.
Yeah,
or
that's
something
we
like
were
that.
tasting
Yeah.
that last week, and we're picking like sort of golden circle pineapple juice, that
Yeah.
fruit punch, just that
Yeah,
real sort of
it's
fruity.
Yeah, it's intense. It's brilliant. I love it.
So we didn't sort of skimp on the hops either. We completely loaded this up with cryo hops.
yeah, which is great.
So as you said,
Yeah.
they're probably twice as potent as a normal
Yeah.
traditional sort of T90 hop palette. But I think we've actually, from what I'd normally put in an IPA, this is probably, I don't know, 30% more in terms of the actual hop weight, and then it's
Yeah.
twice as intense, the actual
Yeah.
hops themselves. So it's fairly bursting with flavour and aroma.
It's definitely up there, that's for sure.
And being International Beer Day, it's a good day to get down to the brewery and try it.
That's right.
By the time this goes to air, this day would have passed. But it's a privilege really to be in the brewery and being able to taste them when they're so fresh.
Oh, that's it. Hey, you know, it's nothing better really. You know, it's the way a beer should be drunk, fresh
Oh,
as.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah.
So, mate, just taking a step back. As you said, you've been working for Cryer for 3.5 years, but you've been in the beer industry a bit longer than that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your background in the beer industry?
Yeah, sure. So I've been, I guess you could say full-time in the industry for about 6.5 years. Although close to 10 years ago, I did have a little stint at Brewski when it first opened there, just pouring beers. But I think beer's really been in my blood, to be quite honest, because my grandfather was an old Kit and Kilo home brewer back in the day. I started my career with Newstead Brewing, so I was with them for a few years just in the sales side, and then an opportunity came up with Cryer Malt, and here I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess selling for Newstead, they were one of the original sort of craft breweries in Brisbane.
Yeah,
with a couple of others like Green Beacon and those earlier ones.
Definitely one of the earlier ones. So,
how do you find the transition from selling beer essentially into bars and stuff into now you're going into breweries and coming to deal with the brewers and selling raw materials?
It's great because being a home brewer as well, so I'm obviously passionate about brewing beer itself and raw materials. So it's really great. I get to talk about that side of thing with the brewers really, and have a bit of a laugh that way. And good thing, unlike going to a bar where they've got a different manager every 3 months, it's not like you've got a different brewer every 3 months. So it's really, you form some really, really great long-lasting relationships and friendships, which is fantastic. So yeah.
So it's a different ball game, I guess, isn't it? Like
completely different ball game.
Particularly in the last few years, the way craft beer has gone with so many breweries coming into the market.
Yeah.
As a sales guy, it must be tough. You're just competing against so many other people.
Oh yeah, it is definitely tough out there. I feel, people who are knocking on the doors of bars to sell kegs, it's a hard slog.
Yeah.
It's a really hard slog. So yeah, but no, look, I love it. It's a great industry to be in. Brilliant industry. We have a lot of fun. So,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there are a lot of stories, but we won't go into here.
No, we don't have to tell
save that for another day. So yeah.
Awesome. So Cryer Malt, who you work for, we've done the collab with, have been around for 30 years, I think.
Yeah, it's 30 years this year, which is pretty exciting. It's a long time.
Started by Dave Cryer in New Zealand.
Yep.
Almost anyone that has been involved in beer, particularly on the brewing sort of production side, will know who Dave Cryer is.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a legend of the industry.
He's a massive legend. So,
I think he's had almost the same hairstyle for those 30 years as well.
Yeah, good on him. He's got hair still, which
He's
is
doing quite
which
well.
Is great. Yeah.
We might be able to flash a photo up of him in earlier days. I got a good one with him, a handful of malt, where he's running that almost famous hairstyle, I reckon that is. But yeah, he's a legend of the industry, and he's recently retired a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he's finishes up actually next week. So, I mean, he sold Cryer Malt 5 years ago, but sort of has
sold it to Barrett Burston.
Yep,
and malting company.
Yep, and then has sort of stuck around to help with the transition, and yeah, I think now he feels it's time to step away. You know, it's always hard leaving your children, so to speak, but it's well earned. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
made a massive contribution to the beer industry.
Contribution has been huge, and it's you know, you have a look at, you know, you walk into a bottle shop and so forth, and there's a whole heap of beers that obviously brewed with ingredients from Cryer Malt, but yeah, his contribution is so huge, and it will never be replaced, and you know, not duplicated or anything like that.
No,
so you know, well done to him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably showing my age. I've been working in the beer industry for a little while now, and I remember when I first started, we used to buy malt off Cryo Malt. This is like 15 years ago in Geelong. I think Tommy Madams back in the day.
Back in the day.
It was
Maltman Madams.
It's just been around forever. It's just almost an institution, really, of the New Zealand and Australian craft beer industry.
And I knew who Cryer Malt was before I started, you know, full-time in industry, and that just comes from home brewing and being involved like that, you know. It's a monster.
So I guess Cryer Malt, obviously they started off selling malt. They moved into other raw materials, and more recently, I don't know, you'll be able to answer this better than me, 3 or 4 years ago they took over distribution of YCH, Yakima Chief Hops, into Australia. So that's, I guess, new for them, and sort of a bit of a change in the beer industry, supplier-wise.
Oh yeah, you know, obviously, you know, I think that's just how things happen in industry sometimes. But yeah, so we are the official distribution partner for Yakima Chief Hops in Australia. So
Yakima Chief being who makes the cryo hops who we bred this beer with.
Exactly right. You know, they're without a doubt regarded as like the premier grower of you know, US hops, really. They're legendary, and obviously based in Yakima there, in Washington State.
Quite a place, Yakima, if anyone's had the chance to go there.
And they've been leaders in the hop game for you know, years and years and years, and so we it's sort of like a marriage, you could say. So we've you know, formed a sort of a distribution partnership where we will distribute the hops for them on their behalf. We work closely with Yakima Chief as well, so they have their own sales manager here in Australia, James Von Sching, and we work closely alongside them to, you know, help get the good stuff to breweries right around the country.
Absolutely.
So it's been really great. It's awesome, and it's you know, like, hops are the true rock stars. So when you got hops, you know, you got brewers chasing after you left right, and centre. So we've
got the good gear.
Mate, that's it. And obviously Cryo's been a huge success. It's changed the hop game completely. You know, because all of a sudden brewers can achieve that same sort of intensity, or if not even more, but even using less of it because of just how concentrated the hops
in making
are.
this beer, we loaded it up just to really express the hops. But in the brewery, you could probably cut down your hop usage by maybe 50% if you were using cryo to get the same effect as 290s.
Yeah, exactly right.
And then you're going to yield more beer, essentially.
Yeah, you will.
You're going to get less wastage in the whirlpool and dry hopping, wherever you use hops.
Which is what you like in the brewery.
Yeah,
you know, more beer at the end of the day is never a bad thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty interesting sort of history, particularly with Dave Cryer.
Yeah.
The journey of Cryer Malt.
Yeah, so definitely, it's definitely been a great journey for sure. So yeah, and with Dave, he's probably going to be reading a few more comic books now, I reckon.
Yeah, he's got a world-class comic collection, hasn't he? That's a bit of a hobby.
Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest in the Southern Hemisphere,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's legendary, which is good. And you got to have an outlet outside of beer. So yeah, no, it's I'm fathomed to think what sort of comics he's got there, like like issue number 1s of this and that,
Yeah.
and everything. So it's probably some that you've got to hold with a tweezer to grab. So
Like being in like the Vatican Museum or something. Or
but
Vatican
no,
Library.
he will be missed, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely left quite a mark on the craft beer industry.
That's right. So, but it's been great. It's been great to be a part of the Cryo Malt family, and you know, I look forward to the next 30 years and seeing what it will bring.
Yeah, geez, mate. If me and you were still not around 30 years.
Yeah, good point.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see how we go.
Indeed, mate.
One more thing I wanted to ask you, mate.
Yeah.
As a bit of a side hobby, you do a bit of DJing.
Yeah. Known to spin a few tunes. So,
So you just want to give us a quick rundown on your DJing career or side gig?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, where do I start? Look, I'm obviously big into music, so outside of beer, my big passion is music. I love it, and yeah, primarily like electronic, house music.
Yep.
So it's a bit of a rarity in the brewing industry. Most people in the industry seem to like metal, so
Yeah, well,
I'm like an outlier.
I don't mind a bit of electronic music,
Yeah,
particularly in my younger days.
So yeah, but no, I've been DJing for probably 20, 21, 22 years,
Yeah.
something like that, and I'm a bit of a promote as well. I put on events and things
Yeah.
like that. Nothing too major, just pretty small scale. And yeah, have a bit of fun, play the odd party, play the odd gig, and yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I think in my 20s, it was pretty much, I was borderline full time.
Yeah.
It was pretty nuts, pretty intense, but I don't think I could keep up with that pace anymore. So yeah,
it gets the better of the best of us, mate.
yeah, you know, sometimes I like being in bed at midnight,
Yeah.
as opposed to 5, 6, 7 a.m.
Yeah, certainly.
So yeah, no, it's great. Look, I love it, and you know, I love music, and I love playing music and making people dance, and yeah, it's a great thing.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
mate, I think we've almost covered everything.
Yeah, we
awesome
have.
to have you in on International Beer Day.
No, I appreciate
We've made this beer for.
Appreciate you having me, mate.
No,
It's been-
absolutely.
It's been great.
We'll be back here at 3 p.m. in the Savo, where I'll be pouring beers for an hour or so.
Yeah, and I'll be
launching this beer. We've also, for the punters out there, we're releasing another couple of beers today as well. We've got a Muscat Red IPA that we've done with a winery down in McLaren Vale. We do annually now, Smidge Wines.
Yeah.
In the past, we've got a couple hundred kilos of grape must and made an IPA with it.
Yeah, wow.
This year the harvest was a bit down, so he didn't have the must to send us. So
Yeah.
we sort of had to think outside the box, and he sent us 50 litres of Muscat, 2018 Muscat.
Yeah, wow. So you dose.
Yeah, we
Dose
dosed
that
that, probably minus a litre or two that I needed to test myself for quality purposes.
Quality insurance. Quality insurance, you know.
So that's gone into the beer. We'll have that on tap this afternoon.
Yeah,
That's tasting
cool.
pretty good.
I look forward to
That's
it.
a red
Yeah.
IPA, so yeah,
Yeah.
quite complex. It's got the hop flavour, obviously, maltiness,
Yeah.
and then the muscat on top of it.
Yeah, wow.
And then another couple of beers we've recently done as collab beers. So
Yeah.
one with Big Shed and one with Blackman. So
Yeah.
we'll have those 4 sort of collab beers on at 3 p.m. the Savo. So
Yeah, nice one.
that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Yeah, awesome, mate.
Brilliant, mate. Oh, well, thank you.
I think we've done all right with this one.
We have, mate.
Cheers.
That's a winner. Cool. Cheers.